So May 2026 in Louisville, Kentucky, I'm taking a lot out my indoor overwintered plants out and putting them in better sun, better air outside. Let them grow outside, and hopefully that'll give them more vigor and health. So these are the Crassula ovata, the jade plant, and these are like the golem jade. I've had these growing, so this is one of my oldest plants from the pandemic era. So 2019 was when I really started to collect a lot more of these indoor plants. And this is not my favorite species to work with. It's a succulent, but it is not a woody plant. So it can't be considered a true bonsai. It's more of a bonsai-like houseplant, right? Which they do look pretty cool. They get these really, when they're older, they get these really thick stems, and they've got such interesting foliage. They don't look like any natural tree, but they do look like a kind of weird alien tree, and I think that's the look that works best now. I'm kind of satisfied with this tree for now, mostly letting it grow out. It got a big prune probably about a year ago. And so what happens when you cut down the leaves to the stem, they throw out some more foliage right there, and those foliage look like a kind of like branching leafy structure. And I think that is a look that I like for this. That's fine. I think the problem with this one is that I've never gone through and selected a front for the tree. And I think that that's something that needs to be done to more clearly develop it as a bonsai, or a bonsai-like, aesthetic. And I think there's really two candidates for the tree, right? So two candidates for the front. So this angle is pretty good. You don't have anything kind of growing straight at the user. You have branches that are growing away from the viewer. But it does have this ugly scar right here that I'm not a huge fan of. And I'm not sure how these heal up, how long it'll take for that scar to vanish. We do have this branch growing towards the viewer here. It's not a great look. This branch is just such a weird looking, such a weird angle. It doesn't look very natural. And I wonder if it should just be removed so you have a more kind of like normal tree-like shape. But it does give some kind of lower interest to the tree. I think this is the other angle that looks, it could be the front. And there's a lot to like here. The trunk has some good movement, some good angles, but I think the problem is that this branch here is growing right towards the user. It's really concealing a lot of the tree. And this section of this branch is also growing towards the user and concealing a lot of the tree. I think that I like this better for the front. But in order to make it more kind of bonsai-like, it does need to have some of those branches removed. So let's go in and go ahead and cut this one. And I'm going to also cut back this one here. So you can see a lot more of the, I'm not sure if that was a great series of choices, but a lot more of the kind of structure of the tree is apparent here if this is the front. So we'll see how this develops, how this grows out, and I'm sure this will be revisited in the future. One thing that's nice about this tree, if you like this plant, is that it's super easy to root. Just it roots itself. You can see when these fallen leaves, they get these little leaf buds coming out, so that's going to be a new plant. And, if you let this dry off a little bit to heal that scar and just put it in some soil, it'll turn into a new plant. Now, I'm not sure I like this because something about this plant doesn't really speak to me. I've let all my cuttings kind of grow in this little thing. It is super top heavy, so I'm gonna have to figure out what to do with this. I guess I'll put it in a new pot and maybe let it grow as some kind of like wild forest setting. It definitely needs to be in a more dry and organic soil here. There's clearly some like rot or decay issues because this is just we're just put it in potting soil and they're pretty moist. So yeah, you can see this leaf here is decaying in the base of this trunk. Even if this started from a very small bit of plant that's grown out, the base is not in great health. So this is all going to have to, I'll just put all these cuttings in one and see if we can do something kind of foresty like that. There's a little bit of trunk left. Yeah, we'll see. Something with a little more weight on the bottom.